Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that your entire life could start changing in just 30 days. Not in a year, not someday in the future, but in the next 30 days. Most people believe life changes slowly over many years. But the truth is something far more powerful. A single month of focused action can completely change your direction, because your life is not built in years. Your life is built in days. And when you control your days, you control your future. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is waking up at 5 a.m. to build a life they want, while others hit the snooze button, while others scroll endlessly through their phones. The difference between those two people doesn't look huge today, but give it 30 days and the gap begins to grow. Give it 1 year and their lives look completely different. The problem is that most people wait for motivation. They say things like, "I'll start next Monday. I'll start when things calm down. I'll start when I feel ready." But winners understand something the average person doesn't. You don't wait for motivation. You create momentum. And momentum begins with a simple idea called the 30-day rule. The rule is simple. Commit to one habit, one goal, or one discipline for the next 30 days. No excuses, no breaks, no negotiations. Just 30 days. Anyone can do something for 30 days. You can wake up earlier for 30 days. You can work out for 30 days. You can stop wasting time for 30 days. You can work on your dream for 30 days. 30 days is long enough to change you, but short enough that your mind won't panic, because the brain hates huge commitments. If you say, "I'll do this forever," your brain rebels. But if you say, "Just 30 days," suddenly it feels possible. That's the secret. You're not trying to change your whole life today. You're just trying to win today. Think about the most successful people in the world. They didn't magically wake up one day successful. They built habits, daily habits, disciplined habits, uncomfortable habits. Every entrepreneur, athlete, artist, and leader you admire has one thing in common. They mastered their daily actions. And those daily actions compound like interest. One workout won't change your body, but 30 workouts will. One day of studying won't make you smarter, but 30 days of focused learning will transform your mind. One day of saving money won't make you wealthy, but 30 days of discipline will change your financial behavior. This is the power of the 30-day rule. But here's where most people fail. They choose too many goals at once. They try to wake up early, exercise, start a business, read books, eat healthy, meditate, and learn new skills, all at the same time. And within a week, they quit everything. Because change doesn't work that way. Real transformation starts with one focus. Just one habit, one commitment, one daily win. Maybe it's waking up at 5 a.m. Maybe it's working on your side hustle for 1 hour every night. Maybe it's reading 10 pages a day. Maybe it's hitting the gym no matter how you feel. Whatever it is, make it non-negotiable for 30 days. No skipping. No, "I'll start again tomorrow." No excuses. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your confidence. But every time you keep a promise to yourself, something powerful happens. You start trusting yourself. And when you trust yourself, everything changes. Confidence is not built by motivational speeches. Confidence is built by kept promises. When you show up on day 1, you feel proud. When you show up on day 5, you feel stronger. When you show up on day 10, something shifts inside you. Now, it's not just a challenge anymore. It's becoming who you are. You're becoming the kind of person who does what they say they'll do. And that identity is life-changing. Because success isn't about motivation. Success is about identity. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you'll quit. If you see yourself as someone who finishes what they start, you'll keep going. The 30-day rule is not just about building habits. It's about rebuilding your identity. And once your identity changes, your actions follow. But there will be difficult days. Days when you're tired. Days when you're busy. Days when you don't feel like doing anything. That's when the rule matters most. Because discipline is doing the work even when the feeling disappears. Anyone can work when they feel motivated, but champions work when they don't feel like it. Imagine yourself on day 1 of the challenge. You're excited. You're hopeful. You're ready. Now imagine day 15. You've already proven to yourself that you can stay consistent. You're halfway there. And something inside you is different now. You stand a little taller. You think a little bigger. Because you're realizing something powerful. You're capable of more than you thought. Then comes day 30. 30 days of discipline. 30 days of showing up. 30 days of refusing to quit. You look back at who you were on day 1, and you realize that person is already gone. You're stronger, more focused, more confident, more in control of your life. And here's the best part. When the 30 days end, you don't stop. You simply choose the next challenge. Another 30 days. Another habit. Another level. This is how people reinvent their lives. Not overnight, but month by month. Because if you can change one habit every 30 days, that's 12 life-changing habits in a single year. Think about that. 12 new disciplines. 12 upgrades to your mindset. 12 steps closer to the life you want. 1 year from now, you could be a completely different person. Stronger, healthier, more successful, more disciplined. But it all starts with one decision. A simple commitment. 30 days. No excuses. No quitting. No looking back. Because the life you want is not waiting in the future. It's waiting in the choices you make today. And the question is simple. Will today be day 1, or will it be another day you wait? Most people underestimate what they can accomplish in 30 days. They look at their lives, their dreams, their goals, and they feel overwhelmed. The distance between where they are and where they want to be feels too big. So instead of taking action, they stay stuck. They keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect motivation. But the truth is, the perfect moment never arrives. Life rewards people who start before they feel ready. That's why the 30-day rule works so well. It removes the pressure forever and replaces it with something simple. Just show up today. When you commit to 30 days, you stop thinking about the mountain and start focusing on the next step. And that small shift in focus can completely change how you approach your life. Think about someone who wants to get in shape. If they think about exercising for the rest of their life, the idea feels exhausting. Their mind starts making excuses immediately. I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I'll start next week. But if that same person says, I'm just going to work out for the next 30 days, suddenly the challenge feels manageable. It becomes a short-term mission instead of a lifetime burden. And that's where the magic begins. Because once you start something consistently, your brain begins to adapt. What felt uncomfortable in the beginning slowly becomes normal. The first few days are always the hardest. Day 1 feels exciting, but also a little uncertain. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're doing something different. Day 3 is where resistance begins to appear. Your mind starts whispering excuses. It tells you that skipping 1 day won't matter. It tells you that you deserve a break. But if you push through that moment, something powerful starts to happen. Around the first week, the action begins to feel more familiar. You're still working hard, but it doesn't feel as forced as before. You're building momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. Once it starts moving, it becomes easier to keep going. Think of it like pushing a heavy car. At first, it barely moves. Every ounce of energy is required just to get it rolling. But once it gains speed, keeping it moving becomes easier and easier. The same thing happens with discipline. At first, discipline feels heavy. It feels uncomfortable. It feels unnatural. But after a few days of consistency, it starts to feel like part of your routine. By the time you reach the second week, something inside you begins to shift. You start realizing that you're capable of more than you believed. You begin to feel proud of yourself. And that pride creates confidence. Confidence isn't something people are born with. It's something they earn through action. Every day you show up, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not controlled by your excuses. You prove that you can stay committed even when it's difficult. And slowly, your mindset begins to change. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you start seeing them as opportunities to grow. This is the hidden power of the 30-day rule. It doesn't just change your habits. It changes the way you see yourself. But there's something important you need to understand. Not every day will feel productive. There will be days when your progress feels slow. Days when you question whether your effort is even making a difference. That's normal. Real growth is rarely dramatic in the moment. It's quiet. It's gradual. It's almost invisible while it's happening. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. For days, maybe even weeks, nothing appears on the surface. If you looked at the soil, you might think nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the roots are growing. The foundation is forming. And one day, suddenly, the plant breaks through the soil. The same thing happens in your life. Your daily efforts may not look impressive at first. No one may notice the work you're putting in. But inside, you are building strength. You are building discipline. You are building the mindset of someone who refuses to quit. And those qualities are far more valuable than quick results, because results can disappear. But character stays with you forever. The most successful people in the world understand this principle. They don't focus only on the outcome. They focus on the process. They fall in love with the daily grind. They embrace the routine that others avoid. While most people are looking for shortcuts, they are quietly putting the work every single day. And over time, that consistency separates them from everyone else. The 30-day rule forces you to step into that mindset. It teaches you to respect the process. It teaches you to show up even when excitement fades, because motivation is temporary. But discipline is reliable. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you moving forward long after the excitement disappears. And here's something powerful to remember. Every single day you complete during the challenge becomes a vote for the person you want to become. When you wake up early, you vote for a more disciplined version of yourself. When you go to the gym, you vote for a healthier version of yourself. When you work on your goals instead of wasting time, you vote for a more successful version of yourself. Your identity is shaped by these daily votes. If you cast enough of them, the transformation becomes inevitable. This is why 30 days matters so much. 30 days of positive votes can completely rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are. You stop seeing yourself as someone who procrastinates. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits. Instead, you start seeing someone stronger in the mirror, someone focused, someone committed, someone who has finally taken control of their life. And once that version of you appears, something incredible happens. You realize that the biggest obstacle you ever faced wasn't the world. It wasn't your circumstances. It wasn't other people. It was the limits you placed on yourself. The moment you break those limits, the door to a completely different life opens. And it all begins with a simple decision. One goal, one habit, 30 days. Show up every day, no matter how you feel, because the person you want to become is waiting on the other side of your discipline. And every day you continue this journey, you move one step closer to that version of yourself. By the time you reach the third week of your 30-day challenge, something interesting begins to happen. The excitement of the beginning is gone, but the habit is not fully automatic yet. This is the stage where most people quit, not because the goal is impossible, not because they can't do it, but because their mind starts playing tricks on them. Your brain loves comfort. It loves routine. It wants to keep things exactly the way they are. So when you begin changing your daily behavior, your brain sees it as a threat. It starts creating excuses. Skipping today won't matter. You've already done enough. You can start again tomorrow. These thoughts feel convincing in the moment. They sound logical. They sound harmless. But they are the silent killers of progress. Because success is rarely destroyed by one huge mistake. It's usually destroyed by small excuses repeated over time. One skipped workout becomes two. Two missed days become a week. And suddenly the entire challenge disappears. That's why the third week is so important. This is the moment where discipline must take control. You must learn to act regardless of how you feel. Feelings are temporary. They change from day to day, sometimes from hour to hour. If your actions depend on your feelings, your progress will always be inconsistent. But if your actions depend on your commitment, your progress becomes unstoppable. Think about professional athletes. They don't train only when they feel motivated. They train when they're tired. They train when they're sore. They train when the weather is bad. Because they understand something powerful. Consistency beats intensity. A small action repeated daily will always outperform a massive effort done once in a while. This is where the real transformation begins. When you stop negotiating with yourself. When you remove the question of, should I do it today? And replace it with a simple rule. I do it because that's who I am now. Identity is everything. If you believe you are someone who quits easily, your actions will reflect that belief. But if you start seeing yourself as someone disciplined, someone committed, someone who follows through no matter what, your behavior changes automatically. The 30-day rule helps you rewrite that identity. Every day you complete is proof. Proof that you're stronger than your excuses. Proof that you can control your habits. Proof that you're capable of building the life you want. And once you collect enough proof, your confidence grows naturally. You begin trusting yourself again. For many people, the biggest reason they struggle with goals is because they've broken too many promises to themselves. They said they would start exercising, but they didn't. They said they would stop wasting time, but they didn't. They said they would chase their dreams, but they kept waiting. Every broken promise slowly damages self-trust. And without self-trust, it becomes hard to believe in your own potential. But the 30-day rule repairs that trust, day by day, action by action, promise by promise. Each time you show up, you rebuild a relationship with yourself. You prove that your word matters. And that kind of confidence is powerful, because when you believe in yourself, you stop depending on other people's approval. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You take responsibility for your own future. Now here's something most people don't realize. The goal of the 30-day challenge is not perfection. You don't have to perform perfectly every single day. Some days will be messy. Some days will feel slow. Some days you'll only do the bare minimum. And that's okay, because the real victory is showing up. Showing up when you're tired. Showing up when you're busy. Showing up when you feel like quitting. Those are the moments that build character. Anyone can perform well on easy days, but strong people are built during difficult ones. And once you pass through those difficult moments, something inside you changes permanently. You begin to understand that discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is actually the doorway to growth. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you expand your limits. You become stronger mentally. You become more resilient. And life starts feeling different. Problems that once seemed overwhelming now feel manageable. Challenges that once scared you now feel like opportunities. Because discipline has changed the way you respond to pressure. Instead of running away from difficulty, you face it. And that mindset will benefit you in every area of your life. Your career, your health, your finances, your relationships. Because the same principle applies everywhere. Consistent effort creates extraordinary results. The person who reads 10 pages a day finishes dozens of books in a year. The person who saves a small amount of money regularly builds financial security. The person who practices their craft daily eventually becomes an expert. Success is rarely sudden. It's built quietly, day by day, through consistent action. That's why the 30-day rule is so powerful. It teaches you the formula for long-term success in a simple way. Focus on today. Complete the task. Then repeat tomorrow. No drama. No excuses. No quitting. Just steady progress. And before you realize it, the end of the 30 days is approaching. You're stronger than when you started. More disciplined. More confident. But most importantly, you've proven something to yourself that many people never discover. You've proven that change is possible. And once a person truly believes that change is possible, their entire future opens up. As the final days of your 30-day challenge begin to approach, you start realizing something powerful. The person who started this journey is not the same person standing here now. 30 days ago, this was just an idea, just a decision, just a promise you made to yourself. But now it has become proof. Proof that you can stay committed. Proof that you can control your habits. Proof that you are capable of doing difficult things, even when no one is watching. And that realization changes everything. Because the greatest reward of the 30-day rule is not the habit you built. It's the belief you built in yourself. Most people walk through life doubting their own potential. They constantly question whether they're capable of achieving their dreams. They look at successful people and assume those people must be different, more talented, more lucky, or more special. But discipline reveals the truth. Success is rarely about talent alone. It's about showing up consistently long enough for progress to compound. Think about it. A person who improves just 1% every day will become dramatically better over time. Those tiny improvements may look small in the moment, but when they stack together day after day, the results become massive. And that is exactly what you've been doing. For 30 days, you've been stacking small wins. Each day you completed your habit, you moved one step forward. Some days the step felt big, other days it felt small. But the important thing is that you kept moving, and progress, no matter how small, always beats standing still. But here's the most important lesson of this entire journey. The 30-day rule is not just a one-time challenge. It's a system for transforming your life. Because once you complete one 30-day challenge, you realize something incredible. The process works. You realize that change doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't require a complete life overhaul overnight. It just requires focus and consistency over a short period of time. So instead of trying to fix everything at once, you simply start another 30 days. Maybe the first challenge was improving your health. The next 30 days might be focused on learning a new skill. Maybe you decide to read every day, improve your finances, build a side business, or develop a stronger mindset. Month by month, you continue upgrading your life, one habit at a time, one discipline at a time, one challenge at a time. And when you look back after a year, the results will shock you. 12 months, 12 new habits, 12 areas of improvement. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary, not through sudden bursts of motivation, but through consistent growth, through daily discipline, through the refusal to quit when things become uncomfortable. Because the truth is, your future is not decided in one dramatic moment. It's decided in the quiet decisions you make every single day. The decision to wake up instead of hitting snooze. The decision to work on your goals instead of wasting time. The decision to keep going even when progress feels slow. These small choices may not seem important in the moment, but they are shaping the direction of your entire life. And the beautiful thing about this process is that anyone can start. You don't need special connections. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need extraordinary talent. All you need is the willingness to commit to the next 30 days. 30 days of effort. 30 days of discipline. 30 days of refusing to break the promise you made to yourself. Because when you master 30 days, you prove that you can master much more. You prove that your habits are under your control. You prove that your future is still in your hands. And the moment you truly understand that, the limits you once believed in begin to disappear. The path forward becomes clear. Your life is not defined by your past mistakes. It's defined by the actions you choose starting today. So the question is no longer whether change is possible. The real question is simple. What will your next 30 days look like? Because the next month will pass whether you take action or not. 30 days from now, you'll either be in the same place or you'll be stronger, more disciplined, and closer to the life you want. The choice is yours. Your future is being built today. One decision, one habit, one day at a time.